Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Lesson 4. Today's lesson will be on stress management. We will go over the weekly topic for today. The World Health Organization defines stress as a state of worry or mental tension caused by a difficult situation. It's a biological response and has been linked to a wide variety and range of serious conditions, including high blood pressure and diabetes. For this week's lesson, we will be talking about the effects and techniques and strategies and therapies to help us control and manage stress. The lesson integrates the previous unit's health literacy content and it builds upon the foundations of designing health information that focuses on the importance of communicating a strategy for care for adults 18 and over. What are we doing this week? Your assignment is worth 30 points and it's comprised of 3 parts. The first one is to create a Stressbuster Blueprint. This is a communication campaign strategy for a target audience or population of your choice, depicting a stress management technique that we learn in the materials. And to add to that is a self assessment tool. There's some examples as well in the unit strategies. Creating a tool is important for the audience to understand the efficacy and call to action for the strategy you create. And finally, there is an intake form that you'll be uploading. It's right here. And you'll be completing that to share with your classmates some of the back understanding of how you created your Stressbuster blueprint and self assessment. We have, of course, have our PACE course objectives. Here's your syllabus at a glance that you're free to look at. We have 3 goals this week. Identify and explain the impact of stress using all the key terms, phases, physiological and behavioral health outcomes. We analyze the relationship between stress and negative health outcomes, recognizing this in ourselves, and how we can demonstrate those changes to positively impact others. And then we'll be revising and combining stress management strategies and techniques that are in this course and course materials to create our own solution and self assessment tool for a chosen population. And it's helpful to be creative. So, the first goal will be to identify and explain the impact of stress using all the key terms, physiological and behavioral health outcomes, and demonstrate the importance of stress management strategies in our lives. Students will analyze stress theories and their impact, understanding the physiological and psychological mechanisms, and be able to discuss them and the implications of stress on health and our well being. Our effective objective will be for you to analyze the negative impact of stress in our own lives and to develop empathy and compassion towards individuals experiencing stress. The psychomotor portion of this will be to actively engage in the stress reducing activities that are provided within the course and demonstrate proficiency of applying these techniques when you create your own. Students will share the practice of how stress management techniques have helped them and how they would help their target audience. Moving on, the second goal is to revise and combine the stress management strategies presented in the course materials and create a self assessment tool from your chosen population that helps them understand where they're going and why they need to apply this. So you'll be analyzing the existing strategies, choosing something for yourself, and explaining the educational points and negative outcomes and potential risks. That is your Stress Buster blueprint in the form of an infographic, flyer, newsletter, digital postcard, etc. Your effective objective would be to deepen your own understanding of the emotional impact of stress and then learn how to communicate that effectively using resources provided, listening actively, and being able to provide support to others in a culturally sensitive manner. Your psychomotor objective with this would be to develop a practice and implement the strategy. Students will actively engage in hands on activities related to stress reduction within the course materials and then be able to explain and demonstrate proficiency applying these methods to promote well being. We have our PACE objectives here that you're free to read. Moving on, we have a few resources. This 1 minute video is a really easy understanding of exactly what is health literacy and why it's so important, why we've landed here with stress management. This lesson slides we'll be sharing with you in a moment are the Stressbuster Blueprint units I've created. Within each of the units are a lot of resources. I've listed hyperlinks to all of them here as a one-stop shop. And then finally, after those 3 units, you'll be moving on to the 4th unit, which talks about the Stressbuster Blueprint. It's a communication strategy for a target audience, and it's designed to improve over time. This is really your opportunity to take what we're learning and create a cadence of communication for yourself later. Here's some tips and tricks about choosing your target audience or population, and a one place for the goals and the activities that are presented within the material. Before you begin drafting your assignment, after you've reviewed all the things, it's great to have a little checklist here of all the things that we've done. Also, reviewing the health literate care model and the CHCS fact sheets. You're free as well to use this checklist when you're completing and looking over the course materials. I've created an example, and this took me less than an hour, so I'm pretty confident that this will be helpful for you. I created an infographic that would be a pamphlet that might be a mailer or something you would see in your doctor's office. The top part discusses chronic stress. That's the topic I chose of the 3 phases, why it's important, why we're receiving the information, and healthy reasons to lower stress. I've suggested a few items for our audience members, along with a cadence of self assessment tool and then a reflection box. When you've completed everything, there is an intake form that I've also created for you to fill out. Gives a little bit of a background for your fellow classmates. The infographic will be due, or whatever you choose, will be due on a Thursday, and then you'll have to show those on a Sunday to your classmates. The Stressbuster Blueprint unit I've created is comprised of 3 sections. It's got a little more again of the blueprint and your target audience. The first unit will be defining stress. The second is the effects of stress, the physiological aspects. The third will be those strategies we discussed. And then the fourth will be a little bit more about a blueprint. Within each of these units, you see unit objectives. Then the end, we've got the activity I mentioned and a summary. And embedded in all of these would be infographics and videos for you. At the very end are more resources for you to start putting your thoughts together and a step-by-step strategy of planning your Stressbuster Blueprint, what might be included as an assessment, tips about your blueprint and intake form. And then finally, I've broken down what I did, which you saw a little bit earlier, in accordance to the CDC Health Literacy Index. At the back end, we have an evaluation tool. And if you like, you can have the quiz for yourself. This will not be graded, but I wanted to share it with you as tools and ideas for you maybe to complete before you are doing your Stressbuster Blueprint. So that's it for this week. Please let me know if you have any questions or concerns, and I look forward to your feedback. Have a great day.